You're watching Find Your Alpha podcast. My name is Buki. I'm your host. Today I'm talking to the one and the only filmmaker, producer, scriptwriter, storyteller, mentor, trainer. He is an award-winning documentary filmmaker as well. The one and only Femi Odugbemi. Today we're talking mentorship and the value that mentorship brings in the filmmaking space, looking at how the context and the cultures and the gaps exist, but also how the gaps can be closed between the new age filmmakers and the ones who have already been existing in the space for a very long time. It's going to be really, really great. So you want to stick around and watch this.
Thank you. The intervention of technology has changed everything. And for me, that's why you can't really draw. No one can pin your legitimacy to stuff in the past. You're legitimate all on your own because you chose.
Because you chose.
And in that choosing, I think it's important to always also take stock. I don't take stock as a social media event.
Right.
That, I think, also is one of the things that I think a lot of people get wrong. They think you don't exist unless people are aware.
People are aware of you on social media.
I always tell people that my power has been my capacity to befuddle people. They don't really know what I'm doing until I've done it.
Until you've done it.
You will never see a picture from my location. I don't foretell what I'm going to do for two reasons. One is self-protection.
Yeah.
If it doesn't come out as great as you've announced it,
you can scrap it. You can change it.
Besides, there's that wonderful element of surprise. And I think it gives a verve to the work. But finally, I like to be assessed on the strength of my work, not my person. And so, as a rule, there's nothing personal about me on social media, as a rule. And I engage at my choice.
Yeah.
So if you write something, draw me out, I choose whether I want to be drawn out. I don't engage conversations that are meaningless. And that whole idea of, whose tail is bigger is of no consequence because
is it tail you wanted to say?
Yeah, troublesome Aburo. Only you hear what I haven't said. But I'm a proper gentleman.
I know.
But I mean, the point I make is often that, in this work, I make sure to remind people it's a profession, which means it's not an incident. It's not something I'm doing briefly. It's not a race. It's a profession, which means I intend to do this for the length of my life.
Yeah.
So I must admit that there will be good work. There will be not so good work. There will be average work. It is the sum total of them that will be called my legacy. So I am not in to do the greatest work anyone has ever done with whatever I'm doing now. I find that to be easy on my mental health, and I can then pursue excellence as a function of doing better than my last work. And when I do that, I find that I am more co-creative.
Right.
I am more comfortable with sharing credit. I am, easy on projecting people of excellence. I'm just happy to be able to say to folks, she's my friend. Or we worked on that together.
Do you think that the idea of collaboration was easier back in the day or now?
I think it was easier back in the day because technology was limited.
Right.
You needed people of expertise in different spheres. There was no way for you to know everything. And so people were narrower in their expertise, and then they needed a larger network, a bigger crew. Today, there's a lot of stuff that, the individual can achieve, with technology. Technology has empowered us to be able to have assistance
Right.
virtually. And now with, artificial intelligence coming, from writing scripts to drawing up schedules,
Right.
putting a budget together, you can do all of this with ChatGPT already.
Yeah.
You can, produce with cameras that are affordable. You can actually decide to either fail secretly or fail loudly. You can go online and get people to advise and talk to you.
Right.
There's so many websites that you can actually get resources from. And then you have a ton of access to references. You want to make a certain genre of film or content, there are thousands and thousands of places you can go to see how others have done that. So in terms of technique, in terms of technology, in terms of training, there's just so much more access. And the advantage of that is not that you do things on your own.
Right.
The advantage of that is now you can be selective with your collaboration. You
can be more intentional.
You can be more intentional.
Strategic.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And you are not restricted. You can decide to have a collaborator in Uganda.
Yes.
And be in Nigeria. You can work with people in the US without actually ever meeting them. You can find a DOP from everywhere and agree the fee and make the transfers of money without needing the central bank.
Yeah.
There's just so much empowerment that it brings more value to your collaborations. And when you do collaborate appropriately, and by that I mean collaboration is only useful when you're not the smartest person in the room.
Right.
One of my superpowers is that I delight in putting teams together that when we're done,
they become smarter than you.
everybody involved, somebody is looking to hire them. Because that work becomes either their announcement,
right,
or their legitimacy. And that concerns actors, it concerns crew members, it concerns, writers.
Yeah.
I really revel in what I think technology today provides. Because, being my age, I've experienced the past and I've experienced now. And I say to
you can see what's coming in the future as well.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I think has been really perhaps my advantage is that I had mentors who were entirely unafraid to
teach,
to be close to someone younger, less experienced, needing their support.
Right.
They were in a space where they were comfortable. Yoruba people have a phrase, "Ọmọdé tó bá mọwọ́ wẹ̀, á bágbà jẹun." And that simply means a kid who knows how to, behave, how to offer the right amount of respect and regard, will open spaces of experience and capacities that the age might not be appropriate, might not have access to.
Yes, if you were a certain age, you may not be invited into certain spaces.
Yes.
But if you behave in a way that the age doesn't matter, the doors will open to you.
Absolutely.
And you will be invited into places and spaces. Like the Bible says, you will sit with kings.
Absolutely. And that's been my journey.
Yeah.
That's been my journey. I have had the privilege, absolute privilege, of being able to sit at a table with the likes of Steve Rhodes and Chief Tunde Oloyede, Jimmy Odumosu, Lola Fani Kayode, and actually carry their bags, stand close enough for them to, in their streams of consciousness, impart.
Yeah.
And to be free enough to say to them, I'm trying to do this. And they say, oh, I'll call this person for you. Or no, use this DOP. Oh, do you know this person? And I say, I don't. Well, I'll give him a call on your behalf. That is a function of character, not competence. And so for me, that's been my journey, that I was able to experience that and now bring it to a space where technology provides this immense access.
Right.
And what I've also then done is I've tried to pay it forward. I've tried to be very active in the lives and careers
Of the young filmmakers.
of talented
Right.
filmmakers. One of the things I make a distinction of, don't call me a mentor when you really intend to use me as a houseboy. Don't send me on errands.
On errands.
Come to the table with something that inspires me and causes me to see your possibilities. Come to the table with a script that's not your first draft.
Right.
Come to me with a plan that actually is written out, and I can look at it and say, oh, but you could have done this or
in a
done
different
that.
way.
Come to me with a budget that says, oh, I need a really good person for this role, but this is how much I have to pay. And then I can say to you, you know what, I'll put in my, I'll get you in my network. I'll use my own,
Yes, I mean your own resources and help
to support
you
you. But I can see you proactive. I can see you talented. I can see you eager and committed. And I can see you with big visions. And for me, those are the people that, yes, I go to bat for. And I've never been disappointed, really. We tried to do that on an institutional level with the Multi-Choice Talent Factory.
Yeah.
And I'm quite happy with the results as well.
With the results that you've gotten. I mean, of course, you've been mentoring people, young filmmakers for several years. You're sitting on different tables where mentoring and teaching and lessons occur. Do you feel like the terrain that we're in right now, with the space that we occupy, with the emerging filmmakers, the new content creators coming out, this idea that I've got to serve first so that I can grow. I've got to serve the networks that I want to learn from, that I want to grow into. Do you think that we've lost that? Do you think that it is strong enough in the minds and in the consciousness of the young filmmakers coming out now, that because that's what helped you, that's what has helped many other people. Do you think that it's strong enough for them to have that consciousness now? To sort of move forward in.
It's like huge.
Or is there a gap?
There is a gap.
Right.
There is a gap because the very capacity of technology to empower tends to give a sense of self-sufficiency. And thus people tend to think they're competing with the people they need to be listening to.
You're right.
And that to me is a limitation. Is a limitation. I think the people that do best are not people that, think that, oh, the only person they can listen to is Steven Spielberg.
Right.
Or the only person that can talk to them is George Lucas. It's not, you don't learn only from the wins or from the successes of older or more experienced people. You learn most from their mistakes.
Right.
It's I call it, the tuition fee for progress. If you haven't really failed at anything, you really can't.
You haven't learned anything.
You really. That's just the way life is structured.
Yes.
But you see, we live in a generation where people think it is shameful to fail. And so they try to project only their wins and project themselves in a certain capacity,
in a certain light.
Because they think it's better for their quote-unquote followers.
For their followers.
And I think, the whole concept, if you ask me, one of the things that I am quite cautious about in the world of social media is the concept of followers. The idea that you choose to simply feast on a diet of one person's worldview, opinions, and thoughts. And that to me is perhaps the most dangerous thing for the human mind, in that the one major thing that person will never talk to you about is how they failed. And for you to learn, you have got to learn that you will fail in a different way, but often the circumstances
are different.
Yes. Often what caused the failures you learn a lot. And you'd be shocked, which is really the whole point of talking to people about mistakes and failures, is that you inspire them to understand that your failure is a bus stop. It's not a destination.
It's not a destination.
And what needs to happen when you fail is that you get up, you dust up yourself.
You learn from your mistakes.
You learn from your mistake, and you make a point not to repeat them.
Yeah.
And that to me is really why it's important to constantly understand that those who have gone before you are not useless. They're not yesterday's people. Depending on how they frame their own journey. I've framed my journey understanding that is always forward. And that means that I'm constantly aware of how technology is impacting the work we are doing.
Right.
And I find that all of us, technology is neutral. All of us learn it from scratch. And all of us have a brain.
And you decide how much of it you want to use.
Absolutely. But there is also something about co-creation which I like to talk about, because learning is not vertical only. Learning sometimes is also
linear.
Horizontal.
Or horizontal.
There's a lot I learn from my young friends. A lot. As much as I give them the benefit of what I know, I demand from them the benefit of what they know. Just yesterday, an editor came to me and he had done something. I asked him to cut a certain scene, and he left and went home from the studio. And I was quite upset about it. And then he came the next day with the material already edited. And I was even more upset because I feared that he had taken the hard drive home,
right,
which I thought was a risk. But he said no. That there is a software with which I connected my laptop at home with the system in the office, and once I access it by my password, I have access to the files in the office, and I sat at home and cut the scene. And immediately I said to him,
teach me.
We got to know this software.
Teach me.
Since yesterday I've been like a kid. I didn't sleep this morning until about 2 a.m. because I kept playing with stuff on my laptop in the office. It was so easy, so user-friendly. I came to the office this morning with a bag of chips for him. That's
once you were upset?
That's the truth of it.
Yeah.
But that's a reality.
That is a reality that we live in now.
That's where we live. And I've learned the art of listening. Because I also think when we co-curate, when we co-create, when we collaborate, it is less about talking than listening.
Yeah.
Often I've had writers co-writing stuff, and they're fighting, and
they're butting heads because
I'm script editing and managing the process. And when I sit them down, and I realize what's the problem. This one is constantly trying to finish the sentences of this one. And I'm like, no, you're not allowing her to finish. And when she finishes, you find that what you're about to say
is completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I find that to also be something that young people struggle with. They're constantly trying to show how much they know, not how much they need to know.
Right.
And what you know is already in your mind. Hold on to it.
And
it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I've never learned anything by talking.
By listening.
It's always by listening. And great relationships are created only through the art of listening. And there's no relationship more emotional, more close, and more consequential than those with people with whom you co-create.
You co-create. Let's talk about mentorship for a brief minute. And do you think that the space that we're in, that there are enough people like you who see more of an advantage and the possibility and the opportunities of not just the collaboration or co-creating with the younger people, but also the value exchange and exchange of knowledge between them? Are there enough people who are like, legendary, been in the game for a long time? We've done it, we've grown it, we've built it. Now I want to train or change the next generation of people. Are there enough people in our space, in Nigeria, that
Actually,
are willing to go the extra mile? Are there enough people?
It's interesting you asked that question, and it's actually funny enough that we're talking about it at a women's conference, women in film conference.
Yes.
The truth is, yes, but they're mostly women. Because they understand, they're more
Nurturing.
yes, naturally, and so they tend to not have an ego at the gate.
Right.
They're more welcoming. And there's this thing about mentoring where sometimes you have to make the first move. You have to ask the question. The young person must kind of feel safe and realize that you're not judging and that you really consider them legitimate
Right.
and worthy. And for me, I do that by giving feedback on your previous work. Whether you show it to me or not, if I encounter something interesting you've done, I will give a compliment. And for me, I find that to be also about understanding how when we work for the better of all, we all benefit
We all
individually.
benefit
I've been
individually.
involved with trying to make a better industry for a long time. So I do understand that when I see a work that's really interesting, that's really good, I get excited because what it does say is that we're expanding, we're growing, we're moving forward, and it's creating better artists,
Yep.
better technical people,
Yep.
which is better for my work.
Better storytellers.
So when I want to
Yeah.
work, the pool is larger, and out of that sense of, shall I say, gratification, I will find people who do good work. I will give them feedback. Sometimes I will insert myself in their journey by offering stuff that they may not know I know or I have.
Or that they may not even know that they need.
Yes.
Yeah.
But to actually be available.
Right.
Women do it better than men when they're in leadership positions. They tend to just be more open. And they're more sensitive to vulnerabilities. I think men naturally want to stand in a place where the younger person comes first and acknowledges who you are, what you are.
Yes.
So if you care about that, it becomes sort of like a fence.
Right.
But I think that one of the wonderful things that my mentors did for me is to make that access easy,
Right.
seamless, to mix laughter and fun with
the learning process.
learning process.
Yeah.
To one of my mentors was the chairman, him and his wife at my wedding. We were that close for me to be able to say, I would trust him with that. And of course, I think there's a way in which you also grow in character,
Right.
because what makes them who they are is not just film. It's not just
It's character.
It's not their technical capacities.
Yeah.
It's their character.
It's what they carry inside, their essence.
And
What
that's what
drives
propelled them to
Yes,
leadership.
What drives them?
Is their capacity to take ownership and to lead processes and groups of people, and that's all inside of them. And if you're not close, it's harder for them to put those in words.
Yeah.
So when you're close, you see the choices they make.
Yes.
You see what's important to them. The way they talk about their family. Then you understand that, okay, family is important. And you're not just a filmmaker and then you fly all over the place and you're a lone ranger. You carry a responsibility to which you must prove yourself true.
Yes.
But what I find really is that the reason they did that, it was better for their storytelling. They knew characters. They knew how characters behave. They could block a situation without words.
Right.
They could advance a narrative within the context of family, friendship, camaraderie within the context of the workspace.
Relationships.
They knew what was plausible, and they knew where turning points are because they genuinely lived it.
Yeah.
And when you're an artist, you think you're all on your own. You're, constantly in a place where, nobody can touch you, and you don't mix, you don't have relationships that are strong. You don't experience the emotional arc of what really makes relationships genuine or authentic.
And when you translate that to storytelling, you find that the transitions that they try to make within these different contexts, they don't match, they don't add up because you haven't lived the experience, so you can't sell the experience.
That's where the audiences get off the bus. Because the audiences are living exactly those experiences.
Yes.
Your dad used to try to trip me by saying things in Proverbs, and he would send me away to go and figure it out. The truth of the matter is, I also come from a Yoruba home, but I never had that opportunity where my dad would try to give me those things to figure out. And then out of the blues, he would say, so translate that into English for me. Of course, he spoke impeccable English. He chose that connection to his roots, to his tradition, to his customs, which I found later was also useful for his storytelling.
Yes.
The kind of actors, the kind of stories he could engage. You can't, if you're only an urbanite, you can't deal with some of those actors. You can't tell those stories because you were never actually immersed in them. I realized much later after his passing, because as I thought about my time with him, I kept thinking of the things that I never realized while he was here. He did them so smoothly, seamlessly, but they were always in the context of Aburomi. And so things you picked up, you didn't know. But what made that relationship work was an unquestionable respect, unquestionable capacity to listen. I did not argue at any point. And there were times when he would say, okay, Moti Kokini, go and make it better. But of course, you knew that what he'd written was already first class. That was your lesson. Go and make it better meant you had to read it, which meant you were learning already.
Yes.
And then you had the problem of fixing it, if it could be fixed.
If it could be
But there
fixed.
was a third part. You needed to come and present it.
So all these different skills that are building that you don't even know that you're developing.
That's what makes mentoring easy. It's such a valuable process.
Yeah.
And I do a whole lecture on mentoring these days. I talk to people about what the rules are. A mentor is not someone you ask for money. A mentor does not necessarily have to be richer than you for you to respect them.
Yeah.
A mentor does not have to have done work as big as Steven Spielberg for them to earn your respect. The fact that they survived as long as they have, alone, because you still got to walk that length of time, is important. The context of their survival, this industry, the evolution of it, is also something that I find to have been incredibly valuable. The second thing is that mentoring is more about the questions and the answers.
Yes.
Don't
ask the right questions.
If you ask the right questions, then you get an answer that pushes you forward. If you get in a conversation with a mentor and you are supplying all the answers, you are mentoring. You're not being mentored.
You're not being mentored.
The questions you ask are important, but the context of those questions are important. The third thing is to actually find somebody to whom you are accountable.
Yeah.
And I think people resist that a lot. For me, it was incredibly.
Because they don't want to be accountable.
Yes.
They don't want to. They don't want to have to answer to someone or explain
I'll give you
their
another
decisions.
example. When I got the job to do a Coca-Cola, the first Coca-Cola TV commercial that was done, I got an opportunity to do it, and I did it. and I finished it overnight. In the morning, they were screaming and yelling, we need to go to the client, we need to take it to the client. But I told them I had just one more box to check. And I walked from my office. My office was a walking distance to Media International. And I walked, immediately he saw me. Otikpari kini yen, mo ní, yes sir, I wanted to show you. Many time, no say, enjoyable. They want to
Watch
see
it.
it, and I will not have the client see it before you saw it. He saw it, one look, and he said to me, nice job, but they are going to ask you this. And I left. When I got to Coca-Cola, it was like he had phoned them. Exact questions. But then I have time to have thought of the answers. But the truth is, he'd been doing that thing, like making commercials for the best people forever. He created Bako Super Sack. All of us had to watch it. That journey was of immense benefit in a moment.
Yes.
Where my capacity to catalyze even my career at that point was impacted just
that
by
moment.
that decision.
Yeah.
I might have just gone off and done it. But that's really what it is. If I didn't take it to him, he wouldn't know. But today, people tend to think that the mentor should call them. Yeah. Somebody sent me an email asking for me to be his mentor, but said, after many weeks of thinking about it and reviewing options, I have decided to choose
you. Oh, wow.
In that language, I fully understand what the dynamics would be. And so for me, those are the things. But there are many things that crisscross in the relationship. As technology advances, I need my mentees as well. As they're making decisions that have to do with a lot of budget, a lot of money, I'm making decisions with them about their savings culture,
Yes.
about their choices, about what the kind of people they hang around with. Those are character issues that I am also
Dealing with.
helping them to deal with. And I think it becomes a mutually beneficial thing. And so it's easy for me to celebrate their wins. When I see them go to a film festival, and their film has been selected and they're getting all the kudos, I feel like a win for me too. And I celebrate it genuinely. I take them to lunch. We have a good time. And then I ask, what's next?
What's next? Because you got to keep the needle moving.
Yes. Because I truly come to the table believing infinitely in your possibilities. Right. And that's what makes it so joyful for me. So
awesome.
That's what I do. That's why I do what I do.
That's why you do what you do. It's been a really, really exciting conversation with Femi Odugbemi, filmmaker, producer, executive producer, documentary, storyteller, teacher, trainer, mentor. It's been an exciting, insightful conversation. We've gone down a little bit of gone down the memory lane a little bit, but it's been really, really good. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you take something from it, and I hope to see you even more impactful in your, respective choices and career path. Thanks for watching. Find Your Alpha podcast. See you in the next one.